cups and chairs, with a brush and a pail of whitewash, till he had dust in his throat and eyes, and splashes of whitewash all over his black fur, and an aching back and weary arms. Spring was moving in. The crash was inevitable, and Hetty could do nothing to break Tilly's fall. She tumbled from her stepladder into the pile of furniture and cushions which were stacked in the centre of the room. Her paintbrush followed, and finally the tin, which was generous in its coverage of Tilly, the stepladder, and the wall she'd been working on. Even Hetty was treated to a few streaks of white in her long tabby fur, as she threw the book to one side in an attempt to rescue her friend, and simultaneously stem the flow of the paint. The paint tin had excelled itself, and was rolling about on the floor in an empty, triumphant sort of way, while Tilly, now covered from head to toe in what the label liked to call parchment glimpse, lay on her back with all four paws in the air, waiting to be retrieved from the wreckage. There was no right way to approach the problem, and Hetty knew she would have to act decisively to avoid further damage, seeing that Tilly had landed on a cushion and assessing that there were no broken bones. She ran to their small sink and filled it with warm water and washing-up liquid. Hauling Tilly off the cushion, Hetty heaved her friend into the sink, where she spluttered in a sea of diluted paint and bubbles. "I think you'd better stay there until I've cleared this mess up," said Hetty, surveying the carnage. "If this is your idea of a spring clean and makeover, I wouldn't give up the day job." "I was only trying to spruce us up a bit," Tilly protested. "Just like Mole in the book." "You know as well as I do that Mole hooked off to the riverbank, leaving his paint and brush behind, instead of falling off his ladder and causing a major incident. Come to think of it, though, that would have been a bit more exciting." Hetty scraped the paint off her desk and back into the tin with her paw, while Tilly reached into the bottom of the sink and pulled out the plug, allowing the dirty water to drain away before running the tap directly onto her fur. She repeated the process several times until the water ran clear, then removed the old painting T-shirt she'd been wearing and joined Hetty in the cleaning, using the shirt to mop up the seemingly endless white puddles which covered the floor. The two cats spent the next hour doing their best to restore order to their room. Tilly made it her special mission to wash all the cushions and blankets and hang them out on the line to dry. Their gingham tablecloth had taken the brunt of the paint and was now lying rejected in a bucket in the yard. By mutual consent, the decorating was abandoned, and not just because they'd run out of paint. Before the accident, Tilly had managed to paint 2 of their walls, and now that everything had been put back in its place, the staff sideboard and filing cabinet, which they used for storing their clothes, did a fine job of covering up the unpainted bits. They would find little reminders of Tilly's paint-spraying adventure for years to come, but Hetty had to admit that their little room looked brighter and cleaner, and that in spite of the overpowering paint smell, Tilly's spruce-up had greatly improved their domestic outlook. "I'm starving after all that activity," she said. "It's nearly lunchtime, and I thought we could spend our luncheon vouchers on the Butters pie of the day." "That's a lovely idea," said Tilly, "especially as we're eating out tonight. It's exciting to have a new cafe in the town, and a free dinner on the opening night is such a treat." "Well, let's hope it's a treat," responded Hetty doubtfully. "I suppose any cat related to the Butters can cook, but calling your cafe Bloomers may not be the best idea." "I think it's really nice. She's called Molly Bloom, a distant cousin to Betty and Beryl," she said when I met her in the bakery the other day. "So Bloomers is the perfect name for her cafe." Hetty shrugged her shoulders. "I suppose it works, but the proof of the pudding will be in the eating. At least it's good to see that Aurelia Claw's place in the High Street has been taken over.